Hey there gamers, it's Professor Meg, and this is a preview of Call of Duty, the board game? That's right, Call of Duty is now a board game, brought to you by the team at Arcane Wonders. Based on the video game by Activision, Call of Duty is no longer something you play alone in your basement in the dark with your headset on and a Mountain Dew. It's now something you can play at a brightly lit table with a friend right across from you. This is Call of Duty, the board game. Please keep in mind this is a paid preview, and this is also a demo copy. All of the demo components are subject to change, and something that I think is very cool is this map is the Rust map. This map was made for only demo copies. This will not be in the final games, so nothing is spoiled for you, and all of the maps will be special in the final game. This project is currently on Kickstarter. It'll be linked down below. Please go check it out. And with that, we're just going to jump into a preview of how this game plays. So I do have this set up for a 2-player basic match. I'm going to go over that first, and then I'll explain some of the extra things that you can go through, but please keep in mind there are other modes that you can play with. There's 2v2, there's free-for-all, there's team deathmatch, which I'm sure everyone is looking for. So there are different things, but this is a basic 1v1 2-player match. So, at its heart in Call of Duty, it is a planning game where you will be planning out your phases and then executing and trying to beat your opponent for as many kills as possible, which is very reminiscent of the Call of Duty board game. What you'll be doing is players will have these hidden screens. As you can tell, there were 2 maps. There's a mini map for your player, and there is a regular map where you'll be executing all of the moves on the board. But you'll have these little screens that you'll use to protect your mini map. Please play with these. I am now going to remove it from the table. That way it's just not blocking anything, but please always play with it. It would be silly if you didn't. You want everything to be a secret, and I will get into that later. But those are usually used. Now, getting into the game, players will pick an operative, and they will pick a weapon. Now, you can mix any weapon with any operative, so you do have that option, and on their advanced sides, the operatives also have special abilities and a killstreak bonus. The killstreaks lines don't change, but their special abilities do, so that could change things for you. Now, to explain what the weapons do, your weapons will determine your dice pool. So for the M60, you would get 6 red, 5 blue, and 4 green. Now, what do those dice mean? The red dice are your aggressive dice. These ones do straight damage. As long as you don't miss, you will add that point of damage as long as you are able to make the hit. Now, these are your agility. This is how well you are able to aim and hit the opponent. Yes, this is your aim, this is your agility. So the green is your agility, and that's how well you are able to maneuver, how fast you're moving, how hard it is to be hit. So you're kind of using these 2 dice against each other, adding up those numbers, and then you will do damage if you are able to make a successful hit. I will get more into that later, so don't get too confused, but that is the point of the 3 different dice that you're using. Now, your weapon will determine your dice pool, but you will always bring 7 dice into combat. So you will have to choose from that. Now, Meg being Meg, if I had this spread, I would probably go for 4 red, 2 blue, and a green. But with these options, someone could also say, you know, I really want to make sure I hit them and I only need to do a little bit of damage, things like that. Now, going into the game, you're going to have 4 action markers. Our action markers for the basic game only have the move ability slotted into it, but as the game progresses, there will be other things that you can slot into these action markers, which are very cool. So your action markers are marked 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's not how much you're moving, that's the order that you're doing the actions in. So with this little mini map, your miniatures have these rings on the bottom to show you what color you are. So we are the red meeple, and you will be putting your action marker where you would like to be moving. So let's say we want to move this way and be a little bit sneaky. We would move to here. Now, I left this oriented like this on purpose to show you that this point is where you will be pointing your gun scope. So it's very important to think about it and determine where you want to be pointing for where the enemy might be, because line of sight is determined by these solid colored lines. So if I was here, someone here would have line of sight all the way. Now, they would have to get up there, so we don't have to worry about that right now, but let's say I was worried about this, I would point my gun scope that way as I move. Now, say instead I wanted to point it forward, I would put my action marker this way, and it's showing which way I'm pointing my gun. That matters for combat. It will give you a certain bonus, which, again, we'll get there later, but in case you're wondering, it does matter if you're pointing at the person pointing at you. It just makes sense. So, let's say we had our move action there, and we want to be pointing this way because we're scared, and then we would move this way, kind of watching our back, skirting around the place. Then maybe we would aim this way, and finally that way. And that would be your move sequence throughout the game. Now, you would have each player program their 4 moves that they would like to do, that they anticipate that they are able to do, and place them onto their board. Once everyone's ready, you will start executing your actions. So for us, we would then move our miniature this way. Now, let's say we were later in the game and this wasn't exactly like this, but let's say he was here. And he was pointing this way. We're now within line of sight of Ghost, and that is going to enter us into combat. We are not pointed toward him, so we would not get the on-target bonus. However, Ghost would, and he is also near this shield, which would give him a bit of a cover bonus. Now, we are still able to fight with him. We would still enter into combat. However, he would be able to have an extra bonus because he was looking at us. Now, a few other things that happen when you enter combat are you will choose your dice pool, you will choose a card to play, and another bonus that you are able to get is if you are the first strike. So once you roll your dice, there are some yellow lightning bolts on these, as well as on the cards that you may play, and whoever does that will go first and get an additional bonus. Now, these bonuses are applied on your tactical meter, which is up here. This will give you your different bonuses for cover and things like that. And then your weapon will be what you are using your dice for. So once you roll, you will add up your aim and your agility, and you will subtract your agility from your opponent's aim and your opponent's agility from your aim, and as long as you are landing within this track, you are still hitting. So it may take your meter down. If it does, then you will not hit, but as long as it does, you will be able to do the damage for the round. Now, depending on where your cube ends after you're figuring out that number, it could end up in the yellow. If it does, if you played fast maneuvers, you would be able to do the 6 points of damage, plus that, plus whatever you rolled from your red. You would compare the damage between the two, and whoever did the most damage kills the opponent. Now, in a situation like this, you would also determine which track to do. I actually put this on the lower track, but if you were further away, you would actually be using this higher track. Different guns are better at different ranges and things like that, so you may want to get up close to shoot someone or try to do it from far away, depending on what weapon you're using. Another thing to note is that if you end within 5 points of damage of the other person, so after adding together all of your damage points, if you are within 5 but you are still killed, you will do a wound back to that person. Whenever someone takes a wound, they will take it on the 2 wound side, because at the beginning of every round you will go down to 1. If you ever have 3, you also die. This kind of prevents people from killing too often too quickly and being able to just beat up on you. They will also take damage back, which makes sense because you also shot at them, so that should happen. Now, you will be keeping track of kills on this different kill tracker up here, and depending on the game, you'll be playing to a different amount, but whoever reaches that amount first just wins. You did a great job, and then you can reset and play again, or try a different mode, things like that. Different guns, anything you want. So now we are going to get into the advanced aspect, which I think is very fun. So the advanced aspect gives you a couple of different things. So your operatives do have their advanced abilities. For example, General Shepard has Magnum Pistol, starts equipped with the .44 Magnum. I don't know guns. I don't know if I should say .44 or if that's right, but he starts with a Magnum in addition to a second item. And here is the Magnum that he would start with. This is an item he can use. If you engage an enemy at range 0, discard this card and immediately deal 2 wounds to that enemy. So that is a great example. If they already had a wound, perhaps from shooting you earlier, you can come back, clock them, and they are just gone. So it does give you different item cards that you're able to use. There are some items, such as a grenade, that you will use during your turn, where you will use your action marker and you will put your little item thing right on top so that that's now the action. Oh my gosh, I've been doing this and not pointing. How embarrassing. You can do this and put your item thing right on top, and then that will show that you are using your item for the turn instead. Now, grenades are cool. You can throw them and just do a bunch of damage. However, there are also mines, and mines you can leave throughout the board, and even if you die, your mines do stay there, so that's a reason for the opponent to be a little bit nervous, even if they just took you out. Let's see, what are the other things you can do? There is a reload. So this is something that I didn't mention, but when you die, you reload, which means all of your cards go back to your hand. As you're playing cards for every combat, you're just discarding them, and you don't get them back until you die. There is a reload in the advanced mode, where instead you'll forego an action to use the reload action, and that will determine how many cards you can take back up out of your discard. I did it again, you guys. And that will determine how many cards you can take out of your discard. At least I look confident when I'm doing it. At least you guys know like what we look like, what we're doing when we do this. I'm sorry this is a silly preview, but I'm really excited about this game, so I'm into it. I'm having fun. So I mentioned before that there's the Killstreak Bonus. So this is one that you would slot in, and once you hit a certain point with your Killstreak chart, you'll be able to do different things. So for the Killstreak, you get a point every time you kill someone, as you would expect. But there are different things that you can get, such as, let's see, the RCXD. The RCXD is this little remote control car where instead of you moving, you stay where you are and you start sending it out, zipping after the other person. It's very fun and cool. Let's see, you're also able to sprint. Sprint allows you to move 2 spaces. All right, and the final one is ADS, or aim down sight. This is another one that's going to slot into your action marker, and this gives you an additional aiming bonus during combat, but requires an operator to not move, to enter, or remain in ADS as shown by the no movement symbol on the token. So this is one where you are kind of staying where you are, crouching down, taking better aim, but you're not moving. One other thing I haven't yet gone over is the capture the flag. So this is something that players will also be doing while they're trying to kill each other. So there's a flag placed on the map, and what happens is anytime that you move through that spot, you're able to take a token of your team's color and put it on that flag. If you do so, at the end of every round, you will get an additional point over on the point tracker. It's a way to win faster because you can only eliminate an enemy once per round, but it will get you that point until that is taken away from you. Now, this has been an overview of Call of Duty the board game. I hope you enjoyed this preview. Please keep in mind, remember, this was a paid preview and these are demo components. However, I had a great time playing this game. I am someone who did play Call of Duty back in college. I played Modern Warfare. I stopped with World at War. Beautiful maps. But I did play a bit of it, and I played Team Deathmatch. So for me, this is very much a quick elimination game. I think it's very much in the heart of Call of Duty. I think that it plays very snappy, and it's very tactical, where it can be fun to learn your opponent and learn how you think they might move or how they understand the map, and then try to anticipate what they might be doing. It's definitely something that if you enjoy playing games with your friends, you'll get to learn your friends better and what they're doing and how to really play against them. So this has been Call of Duty. If you'd like to check it out, the link is down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.